The League of Legends esports scene has changed quite a bit since I made my last video in 2018, and I was hoping to address those changes as well as cover some things that I missed in that video. So I hope that this video helps out any new or interested people into the scene once again. First things first, I would like to explain some rebranding that one of the leagues went through. In my previous video, I explained the North American and European professional League of Legends scenes. Namely, the European League of Legends scene was at the time known as the EU LCS. However, they have recently gone through a rebrand. In late 2018, it was announced that the EU LCS would be changing its name to the LEC, an acronym for the League of Legends European Championship. The league also followed the North American League and decided to franchise the league. This is also something that happened shortly after my video was created, in which the professional scenes in both North America and Europe got rid of their relegation process. Instead, teams would buy slots and not have to worry about eventually getting booted out after a poor performance. Before franchising, the weakest teams in each league would end up having to play a tournament in which the strongest teams in the previously existing challenger scene would get to compete against them for a spot in the professional leagues. For example, the team CounterLogic Gaming had a very mediocre 2014 summer split, in which they finished 7th place. This meant they had to play in the relegation tournament before the 2015 spring split. They were paired up against the sister team of the LCS team Curse Academy, and this is a little snippet from the hype video by Riot Games detailing the matchup and kind of explains how the players felt going into it.
We had worked really hard for a whole year to do this one thing, which is make worlds, and we failed.
If we don't win this game, then we are basically out of competition and we won't participate in LCS.
We really have to win this match because this is our career.
Curse Academy, they secured top 2 in these playoffs.
I feel like our team morale is a lot higher than theirs, and that's definitely something that's going to help us going into the matches. I believe we have a good shot at that.
With franchising existing, however, this no longer is the case. Instead, teams have guaranteed spots, regardless of how they perform. Technically, teams still can be replaced, but this is not a process that happens due to results. An example of this is Clutch Gaming, a team that I mentioned in my previous video, who are owned by the Houston Rockets. In mid-2019, it was announced that Dignitas, another professional gaming organization, would be buying out Clutch Gaming's spot in the North American LCS. So technically, a team in this now franchised league was changing. However, it was purely an economic move, and the players still remained the same, just under new branding. China, North America, Europe, and South Korea are considered the most significant regions in the League of Legends esports scene, and all 4 of them are currently under a franchise system, none of them having a relegation scene any longer. And all of these scenes will, for the most part, have the same teams for the foreseeable future, barring any teams being bought out, such as Clutch Gaming, as mentioned earlier. All of these organizations have gone through a very lengthy process with Riot, in which they had to be approved in order to be accepted into the league. Many of these teams have been around in the League of Legends esports scene for a very long time. So what did Riot do instead of having a relegations tournament? They had to do something with all the talent that was good, but not good enough to be starting on rosters at the moment. The big change happened in specifically the North American League of Legends scene. Riot Games announced that they were replacing relegations with an academy scene. In this, each team would seemingly have a sister team which would compete in a tournament of their own as LCS was going on. You can think of it similarly to the minor leagues in Major League Baseball. The intention of this league is a place for teams to use to build up-and-coming talent so that they can potentially eventually join the main rosters. There has been some controversy among fans of different teams related to the academy scene, however, as some fans believe that teams are not using this scene as it should be. One example is Dignitas's academy team. Dignitas picked up several players for their academy team who were anything but rookies. Names such as Lorlo, Acadian, Diamante, and Phoenix. These were players who, specifically Lorlo and Phoenix, had been in the scene for quite a bit of time, and fans did not feel like this was how academy should be used. They wanted to see more rookies being developed, more up-and-coming talent in this academy scene, rather than a place for teams to hold on to more talent that was already proven. Also, winning academy doesn't mean nearly as much as winning LCS, which is another reason for people to be fairly upset with what Dignitas did. The scene in Europe is a bit different. The amateur scene here is known as the European Masters. The format of this differs significantly from the academy scene in North America. Rather than an entire league, which has a seasonal type format, this is done in a single tournament. 16 teams participate. Teams are then drawn into 4 groups, which are played in a double round robin, and matches are a best of 1. The 2 top teams from each group advance onto the knockout stage. If you've watched other League of Legends tournaments, you are probably sensing some similarity here, and you will see some similarities continue as I explain the rest of the format. Out of the original 16 teams, 8 of them will end up participating in the knockout stage. First place teams from the group stage each end up playing against a second place team. Matches here are instead a best of 3, and finally winners advance onto the main event of the European Masters. The format of the main event of the European Masters is very similar to that of Worlds, which happens later on in the year for all of the major regions. In this, there is also a group stage and a knockout stage. The main difference here is that the groups that teams are drawn into for the group stage is depending on seeding rather than purely random as they are in the play-in portion that happens previously. Once again, in the knockout stage, 8 of the 16 teams participate, and this is a single elimination bracket, which means it is do or die for each team in each series. The winner goes on, loser goes home. The main difference in the knockout stage here is that all of the matches, yes, are best of 3, just like in the play-in stage. However, the finals of the European Masters is a best of 5. Similarly to the Academy League in North America, winning European Masters does not guarantee you a spot in the professional league, the LEC, like it used to with the relegation format. Ultimately, this is just a way for people to get their name out there in hopes that a team may decide to scout them out and potentially end up picking them up later on in the future. Regarding the amateur leagues in the eastern regions such as South Korea and China, and additionally the wildcard regions, I will not be discussing them in this video. I was hoping to just mainly cover North America and Europe. However, if there is a demand for that, let me know and I will make yet another video just simply discussing the amateur scenes in those regions specifically. That's going to wrap things up for this video. I hope that I did an alright job covering what I failed to cover in my previous video 2 years ago, and additionally, things that have changed in that time span. I hope that I helped you understand some more about the League of Legends esports scene, and I hope that I helped you understand things that have changed since my last video. Again, I would still recommend watching it if you haven't, because most of the information there is still relevant to this day, but I just wanted to make this video in order to explain some changes, because as time goes on, things do change, and the League of Legends esports scene, again, is no exception to that. If you do feel like I missed something, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will consider starting another video on that, potentially this summer. As I said, the one I would mainly consider doing is the Eastern amateur scene, so let me know if that is something that you really want in the comment section down below. And overall, just let me know what you thought of this video in the ratings with a like or a dislike. The feedback is really helpful, and thanks for watching. I hope this was an informational video. And as a bit of a reward for any of you who stuck around for the entire thing, I'm going to leave you with my favorite moment in League of Legends history. I'd like to again give new fans a taste of what this sport has to offer in terms of hype. So without further ado, here is a clip from Worlds 2016 between the two Korean teams, SK Telecom and Rox Tigers. Enjoy.
Oh, not going to get the root, but the strength of throws will land. The kickback doesn't mean much to Blank, and that should be a kill onto the Rox Tigers jungler.
But he's just buying time. Yeah, pushing the bottom side. This is what SKT is trying to punish. They're going to get the inhibitor.
Gorilla putting down 5 damage auto attacks, doing what he can to keep mid lane alive because top and Hib has been killed, and they even got the pick off on Bang.
Rox doesn't actually have to stop pushing right now. They can delay the recalls. The arrows. Look at the arrow. Get teleport.
He stopped Duke, which means they can push. It's now on Wolf. It's a teleport coming in for Smith and Colonel. How much more can be done?
They want to win right now.
To tank. Wolf running out of health. He's going to die off. Onto the turrets they go, but the minions are gone, and it's too much. SKT are here to defend. This is a difficult 3v2. Pushing down Duke, down below 1,000. Oath back on towards Prey. Push back yet again, but Smith's running low. But they get it. It's the Nexus. They're trying to burn it down. Is this not going to be enough?